I will start. So my name is Marco Preuß. I'm the head of the R&D department at perma-tec. And yeah, talking about connecting barrier boundaries. So we brought today this agenda. Nevertheless, we don't want to spend so much time on the first three topics, but I think it's mandatory to understand who is perma, what is a single point lubrication system, and afterwards we can show you what was the impact of all the IoT stuff to our products. So, who we are. perma-tec, we are almost 6 years of experience in lubrication systems. We were founded 1934 already, and we were in the beginning producing household goods and metalware. So, and the owner of this company was a kind of a lazy guy because he has to get into his production facility and has to lubricate everything manually with a grease gun. And so he wants to get rid of it, and therefore he invented the first automated lubrication system or single point lubrication system, the so-called Perma Classic, but I also don't want to go in details here. If you are interested in this stuff, you can ask us afterwards. So the development and also the production is only in Germany. There's the revenue of 132 million 2024, and we got 325 people globally at the moment, around 230 in Germany because there we are also producing. So seeing this, you can buy the stuff directly from us, and we were also working with distributors, and it's very important for us because these distributors give us then the range to split or sell our products all over the globe. So only for you, where you can find us, we got subsidiaries, a big one in the US. They're working 50 people approximately. In Australia, they're working 30 people at the moment, and we are not producing there. There's only local filling, local packaging, and local labeling. And most of this, we will see afterwards also the picture, is mining industry, heavy mining industry, automotive industry, packaging, and so on. Okay. What is a single point lubrication system? So normally you got an engine here, like an electrical motor. Oh, okay, but I think you can see it here. And you have a bearing, something you have to lubricate. You can do it manually, or you put in a device from us. It's a so-called Perma-star Vario here. You put it on, and then you adjust the time for 6 months maybe, 12 months, 3 months, whatever your application is needed. And then it is ensured that the right grease or oil in the right amount and the right time is given to your lubrication point. So you can relax after adjusting it, and then you were fine. We are not producing central lubrication systems. So if you have a big tank and a big pump and then split it up to a few lubrication lines, we don't have this. Right. So IoT, coming back to the IoT impact from us, this is a so-called Perma-star Vario. This is one of our most sold product, and in the past it has no communication. So it is the drive head, the battery system, and also a lubrication container. You put this all together and mount it directly on the lubrication point. And the only information you get from the system, you have to go there. You have to look on the LEDs. If they are flashing green, everything is fine. If they are flashing red, you have a problem. You can look then on the LCD display, which kind of problem you have. If you want to get some information in terms of the filling level, you have to look through the clear plastic. So therefore we said, or decided that our customer said, come on, you have to do something with IoT. We started at first with Bluetooth. So we got one drive unit then. It was not the Perma-star Vario, it was a Perma-star Vario Bluetooth. We also have an explosion-proof version of it, so X-Bluetooth system. And due to the fact that we are battery-driven, we implemented Bluetooth Low Energy. So therefore we have also a limitation of the range. But behind that we had also developed Perma Connect. It's our database, including with our app. So now you are able to remote control your systems. So you can go in the range of the systems and connect directly through it, and then you see informations like the status. So is it good, is it bad, do we have a problem, the setting times, filling level, next and change date, and so on. This was all given you by a dashboard. What we also have now is a Bluetooth gateway to enlarge the range of the radius, but nevertheless, we received that information from our customer. It was nice, but we need another technology to integrate. And therefore, LoRaWAN was chosen because we got a great market pull from our customers. And then for us, the challenges was as Perma to implement now the gateway. We needed, it was necessary. Now we have to handle the data from the gateway to the local network server, from the local network server also to our database, then to the connect. And this was a kind of tricky for us at the beginning. So then we made field trials, everything was working fine so far, but then we said, okay, we have to roll it out for mass production. And therefore, for serious condition, we have another challenges we had in the past. So we need now the electronic data handling through our production process, because normally Perma was selling commodity goods. We produced it, we stored it, we sold it. Now we need data handling all through the production of of our drive units. So we have the app with the key. We have to get the key information into our ERP system. Afterwards, we have to forward out of our ERP system through the LNS, to the local network server, the information. We need afterwards checking or a convenient process to onboard the systems to our LNS. So we have also a QR code on site, which was laser curved. So this information we have also to handle in our ERP system, and also the whole way back, because we are not only a sensor, we are also an actor. So if you have everything on your dashboard, on your app, you can do an purge. We call it purge. It's another depletion round of lubricant you can bring out to our system. But therefore, it was not one way; it's also back way. And another thing, of course, we want to roll it out over the whole world. So therefore, we need also field application engineers in Australia, in America, because at the beginning, we recognized that our colleagues were a little bit struggling in America and the USA, and they were calling us at midnight, help us please. So we recognized if we have to bring this in the field, we need main or local contacts in these regions. And therefore, during our project phases, we have also installed or trained the so-called LoRa champions from our side. So, and that's it from my side. Now we go into the technology deep dive with all the data handling behind, and this will explain you, Matthias.
Yeah, so to jump a little bit deeper on what we did in the background and what is not seen by our customers, but what is needed to make the customer experience as smooth as possible. So we built up a complete ecosystem in the background, because you cannot get something off the shelf. This is really tailor-made for our solution. So as Marco explained, this is our drive unit. As you all know, gateway, LNS, and so on and so forth are needed. But what is happening really in the background on our end? So our ERP system is basically on top of everything, and it's handling the complete communication along the value chain or along these complete IoT chain. So in terms of key handling, all the network parameters, API handling, and so on, this is done and coming out of our ERP system. During the production, the regular production parameters are stored in the ERP system for traceability reasons and all that, quality control, but also the key generation of our drive units is already done in our production. We have a laser QR code engraving, which is then printed on our drive unit, which can later on be used by the mechanic in the field to onboard the drive unit. Already during the production process, this end device is created in our LNS. So without having the drive unit in hand, this drive unit is already live in our LNS system. And then by onboarding it, so with the first join, all the key handling is processed. Similar things are done for the gateway. Also, the gateway is basically pre-commissioned already. So based on an order from the customer, he receives a fully commissioned gateway from us. The complete key handling, basic station protocol handling, and all that is already installed, including a VPN connection on the gateway for us in case something is happening, that we can jump onto the gateway and troubleshoot in case of it is necessary. Same things for the gateway already. Also, the gateway is already pre-registered at the LNS. So once it is plugged into the power socket at the end customer, it can be used right away using a cellular connection, or then a little bit more work needs to be done if the end customer wants to use an Ethernet connection. Of course, then he has to onboard it in his own IT infrastructure. But from our end, the most used solution is really a gateway, including a cellular connection. And then at the end customer, it's really only the mapping of the device to the install position in the field. You will see later on some pictures what is really happening in the field. And an interesting feature which we implemented is that based on this QR code, the end customer, if he is not using our infrastructure, if he has an own LNS or LoRaWAN infrastructure, then he can use this QR code, basically delete this drive unit or device from our LNS and our IT infrastructure, and with an email he will get the necessary keys to onboard this device into his own ecosystem and infrastructure. What I already said is that of course we can jump in, so everything is VPN and remote accessible for us in terms of troubleshooting is necessary. What the customer sees is really only an easy thing. So basically he can work in his dashboard or in our dashboard to establish all the different drive units to the end positions, to electric motors, to pumps, whatever is necessary in the field. And then what I said, with inserting the battery in our drive unit for the very first time, with the first join, he is basically jumping onto the pre-registered setting in our LNS. With scanning the QR code, the end customer can basically trace this drive unit to this installation space and all his wording in the background. We use a gateway mapping from Glamos or Glamos Tracker to really find the best position for the gateway when the customer gets the install for the very, very first time. And along the chain, really, we are orchestrating. So we of course rely on partners along the value chain. So we are orchestrating existing technologies tailor-made for our use. So really starting from the drive unit, where we use the seed module, the E5 module from seed since the very beginning, over different gateway manufacturers and OpenVPN and the Glamos tracking, what I said, for mapping the gateway. Then along the Think stack with everything running on a Kubernetes cluster on a server infrastructure here in Amsterdam, along to our own app and our own dashboard, which we provide to our end customers for free. Okay, to give you an idea what happened in the last 3 years on our end. So we started with all these LoRa technologies really back in 2022. And on the photo you can see it's basically my balcony at home, where we made the first test setup. So we installed the 2 gateways on my balcony, really across the town or the city where we are living. So in 2 kilometers line of sight, another colleague by accident had his house, and we built some drive units, some end nodes on his balcony, and we really made some first tests in terms of distance, which can be covered with LoRaWAN, package losses, and really all that basic things. Data connectivity, how many volume of data, package size can be transferred, and all that. This is then our real life installation of our product. So as an example, an iron ore mine in Western Australia, together with a port operation, you can see that multiple gateways and multiple drive units are spread across such facilities, and the distances which can be covered with LoRaWAN and in industrial environment, they are really, really absolutely great compared to what we have experienced with Bluetooth. Some other pictures where you can really see that there are a lot of drive units installed on conveyor belts, on pumps and all that. And in the past, really, they needed to send out somebody just really to check manually if the drive unit is still working, if grease is dispensed into the end equipment. Now they can sit back in a air-conditioned room basically and have all the information remotely, and they only need to send out somebody if necessary. Same picture here for the United States. Here, in this case, it's a pulp and paper processing in Georgia. And you can see based on the distances, so 800 meter by almost 1 kilometer, which can be covered with 2, maximum 3 gateways. It could be covered maybe by 1 if the spot for the gateway would be ideal. But in our case, we rely on the redundancy and place most of the time 2 or 3 gateways to cover such an area like this. Some pictures from pulp and paper processing. So this is not a new rocket launch pad for sending trucks into the orbit. This is really how they unload the trucks, and of course also there you need some oil and greases and lubricants to make the process absolutely smooth and running. This is the last example, again Australia. This is the golden barrier reef, well known, I think, to everybody of you. So land side of the golden barrier reef, there is the so-called Bowen Basin, one of the largest coal mining areas in the world. A couple of coal mines are located there, and you can see one of these coal mines, it can be covered. The blue dot is a gateway, the red dots are the drive units installed on the different equipments, and then it is processed, pre-processed with big trucks, big trains, coming through to the port operation. And the port operation looks like this here on the left-hand side. So again, it is stored, and then with big conveyor belts, the coal, the pre-processed coal, is coming out to the ship loader docks. And you can see again, one gateway land side to cover all the operations in here, and one gateway on the sea side to cover the ship loading docks, and a couple of drive units on both ends, which really works perfect and absolutely great. So benefits for our customer. On the one hand, and this is really the main benefit and the unique selling point for this digital solution on our end, is really that, I think everybody of you has seen this, the lack of skilled workers. So automation and digital processes, digital knowledge is the key for that. In our end, maintenance needs to be digitalized, to keep those workers away from making stupid walk rounds to see if everything is working well. Of course, this must be handled in a digital way, and more added value on our end. As a quick summary, where we are, or where are we today? So as of today, we already have more than 1,300 registered end devices on our LNS in year one. So we launched this LoRa product in July last year, so a little bit more than 1 year now. And already in year one, we have more than 13,000 end devices around the globe. We have certifications, so including the base certification, RED and FCC, we have certifications in 64 countries around the globe already, because our product and our end applications are spread so wide. And that's why we also need a couple of gateway manufacturers, because most of the gateway manufacturers have certifications in different countries. And this helps us to cover basically the globe. And a large number of customers are using our product already. What's in the pipeline on our end? So we are currently working on a new development with Bluetooth and LoRa technology for a new product, which will be launched in 2027. We are working on the enhancement of our own dashboard and our own connector, because what we see is that most of the customers, of our end customers, they like to have a hybrid solution. They don't want to rely only on one dashboard. Most of the time, they do have their own maintenance or IoT backend, not using LoRa most of the time, but of course using different sensor technologies and other things in the IoT landscape, and they want to have this information not on different apps or different dashboards. They want to have everything combined. They like our solution for this specific part, but of course for the complete portion, they want to have everything in one spot. So working with these APIs, what I showed before, sending the information to two backends, this is what we are working on, or what we have already established. We're currently building up partnerships with sensor manufacturers around the globe. Why? Because a lot of the sensor manufacturers in this harsh industrial environment, like mining, like steel and whatever, they have sensors, vibration sensors, ultrasonic sensors, and most of the time the sensor tells that something is wrong in combination with the lubrication. So it's a perfect match between those two ecosystems. And on our end, we are basically the perfect actuator to the sensor, because when the sensor reading says, hey, you need to send somebody out to relubricate and whatever, this could be done automatically without sending somebody out using our product. And I do not need to tell you, if you have the digital solution, the next step is use artificial intelligence to optimize these things. And that's also what we are working on in the background, to make the customer experience and also the information which is available for our end customers as good and as reliable as possible. So thank you very much for listening. And if there are any questions, feel free to ask.